We're in.
Good evening, and welcome to this episode of The Wild Beyond the Witchlight. I hope you are all well. This is our second stream from Some Other Heroes, and it is a D&D 5e live stream where, to paraphrase some or other guy, his name escapes me, a bunch of us nerdy-ass queers sit around and play Dungeons & Dragons.
Yes.
I don't know who said that, but anyway. Thank you for joining us. We are very keen to get into tonight's game, so we won't sort of go on for very long, but I would like to just start by introducing the amazing people who take on this fantastic task of doing weird and geeky and somewhat slightly chaotic stuff every couple of days. So let us start, not with Theo, because I've been forbidden from starting with Theo. We shall start with Charlie.
Cool. I am Charlie. I use she, her pronouns. I am an illustrator and a writer and a lecturer and big all-round dork and dweebus. I have my dog Lola next to me, engulfed in a blanket. So if you see wiggling, it's her. And I am playing Mona, who is a knitwear encladded half-orc, also using she, her.
A paladin in knitwear. Meh. We all have our
strong
own.
knitwear.
We all have our own unique
knitwear.
armor.
Yeah.
Thank you very much. And Chris.
Hello. My name is Chris. I use he, him. I am an illustrator, an all-round geek. I have the pleasure of being the other DM on this channel on our Sunday show. And today I am playing Nerigwynn, the Awakened Cat and Cleric of the Twilight Domain.
Super. And last, the fabulous internet-famous Theo Blue.
Hello, I am Theo. I'm also an illustrator and I use they, them pronouns. And this evening I will be playing the big soft boy, Asta.
He's a good boy, really.
He probably is the best boy, to be fair.
Well, with your lot,
Some
I'm never
point
sure,
that.
really. Thank you very much. And my name is Wayne Fick. I will be your DM tonight. I use he, him pronouns. And I am not an illustrator, but I hang around with these lot way too much.
We were adopted by a real creative director.
Indeed. So last week we actually left our party in the midst of a fight, unfortunately. But we shall pick up tonight as they are facing what has become a little bit of a nemesis on their journey. The chief brigand of a group of Harengon brigands, the apparently infamous Agden Longscarf, who appears to be... The scarf dickhead, as Charlie
Yeah, I was
said.
just trying to remember what it was we called him, whether it was scarf twat or
who
scarf
appears to
dickhead.
be running rings around our little party. Let us skip to the battle map, and we shall rejoin the battle in the middle of the action.
Let me come down a little bit so the viewers can see everything. There we go.
Awesome. Right, so we left our intrepid party bundled up on the causeway with Agden between them. Nerigwynn had cast Twilight Sanctuary, is that correct?
That's right, yeah.
Which is the circle that you see. And approaching them from a distance are a couple of skiffs, a couple of little boats with some of Agden's compatriots on. But they are holding back at the moment, cheering on their intrepid leader. We are going to start at the top of the round of initiative. And one of the first to go will be the Heron Brigand, who's on the boat, but he is waiting off, holding to see what his leader does. So, Nerigwynn, you are up. What would you like to do?
Awesome. I think, sorry for the pop-ups and everything as I move around World 20. I think the first thing Nerigwynn is going to do is 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30, move to there, so that his friends are now encompassed in his sphere.
Oh, yes.
And then he will take a look at Agden. Have we actually managed to hit him yet?
Nope.
Not a scratch.
Do I want to... Has he managed to hit either of you yet?
No, he missed several times with his branding iron.
Oh, that's right. We're all back and forth, and no one's actually managed to hit each other yet.
No.
Nope.
Well, I think maybe we will go for... We're just going to go for something simple this time. I would like him to make me a wisdom saving throw, please.
A wisdom saving throw. Okay. Let's do it. That is a 14.
14. It beats. So you guys hear the rumbling purr that you've heard before, but it doesn't actually take this time as I cast Toll the Dead.
Dang it.
Right. Anything else you would like to do, Nerigwynn?
If none of my friends have taken damage, I've not taken damage. No, I think that's pretty much it for the time being.
Okay, cool. The Harengon brigands, as I say, are holding back, which brings us to Agden Longscarf's go. So he is going to... he sort of takes a little step around Mona, and he just leans forward, Mona, and he just whispers in your ear, loud enough that everyone can hear, but sort of a dramatic whisper, and he just goes, "Well, y'all are really slow." And he is going to swing his branding iron again and try and catch you by surprise with his branding iron. Ooh, that's a better roll than last time. And that would be a 20 to hit.
Yeah.
Okay.
Don't roll more than once.
I'm afraid so. Ooh, you're lucky.
Nice.
So that was 4 points of damage. And as you kind of try and step to the side to get away from this branding iron, you see he kind of just shifts a little bit, having seen you done that before with the knitwear kind of disguising where your body actually is. And you feel this kind of burning pain just in the side of your body where the knitwear is kind of shifted as you moved. And you look down and you can see that in your body there is a burn shaped like 3 rabbits head to tail in a triangle form. And it's not as sore as you think a brand would be, something that was, actually fiery hot, but it definitely stings and it definitely burns. And as you kind of recoil and you spin to look at him really angry, he's gone, disappeared.
Ugh.
You
What?
can no longer see him at all.
Can we see him?
Asta and Nerigwynn, you can both still see him.
Oh, cool. Cool.
Oh.
Cool and great. Cool and great. Yep.
Yep.
Cool.
Fun.
And he is going to move along to where Nerigwynn is. And he moves again with unnerving speed and just stops kind of like almost in a cartoon kind of break in front of you, Nerigwynn. And he has a huge smile on his face. And he just looks down, flicks his scarf over his shoulder, and he goes, "Huh, a cat. Well, y'all are interesting." And he's going to bound over you and land on the other side of
Yeah. Doesn't provoke an opportunity attack, does it?
He will.
Oh, cool. In which case, I will just try and snare him with my claws as I go.
Okay.
Scratch his toe beans.
That will be a 22 to hit.
Does indeed hit.
Cool. Doesn't do a lot of damage. Need one of those. Oh, 6 points of slashing damage. And I think Nerigwynn will just kind of lash out that way that cats do really quickly. And as he lands the other side, he's doing this. Sorry, what was that about being slow?
He just gives a real little, like, as the claw catches him, he gives a little kind of wince of his leg, and he lands, looks down at it, and you can see you have kind of caught him, but there's barely a scratch. It's just the tiniest little scratch, and he just he lets out a chuckle, and he goes, "Ah, now we're getting interesting," and then he turns to see where he's going next, but that will be his round. So next, after the brigand, is Asta, who, just to remind everybody, Asta at the end of last round had turned into a snake.
For anybody that missed our social.
Yeah, missed our social post, yes. So while Asta's token is still our Asta that we know and love, as I said before we started, I know it's controversial, but we're going to have to use our imagination, and Asta is now a snake. So, Asta, what would you like to do in your snake form?
How high up from the water is this like wooden construction?
It's about, well, it varies because it's a bit kind of ramshackled, but it's probably about 5 feet off the water.
I don't think I can really do anything because he's not close enough to me.
Hiss menacingly.
Yeah, because I can swim as a snake, but I won't be able to get back up there. So we'll just move, I guess.
Could you, as a snake though, would you not be able to kind of slither up? I mean, you would use movement like anybody else would.
I've only got 30 feet of movement. I think he's just slightly too far away.
Oh yeah, from there he probably would be.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Um.
Yeah, so he would be just out of reach, I'm afraid.
I'm just gonna move in between my buddies and hope that he comes near me.
Sure.
So I can try and bite him.
Cool. As you move in between your buddies, Nerigwynn is facing the other way, having just glowered at this Harengon. But Nerigwynn had not seen you yet in your snake form.
Oh shit.
So Nerigwynn turns to see you, and how does Nerigwynn the cat respond to seeing a giant snake behind him?
Not well. I'm going to make a wisdom saving throw.
Please do.
It's good. It is a 21. I think I look at the immediate situation and then kind of work out that Asta can change shape, and just
because you don't see Asta and then you see a snake.
yeah.
So,
I'm working
You've never
on the
seen a
basis
snake
that...
and Asta in the same room at the same time.
I think Nerigwynn does a proper full-on kind of hackles rising for a second, and then notices.
I try and try and do like, I know I don't have hands, but like I try and hiss in like a non-threatening way.
I think that the non-threatening way basically means that this smile comes across the snake's face, which terrifies Nerigwynn, who's pretty sure it's about to try and eat him. But then Nerigwynn notices that the snake actually has slightly sort of glowing freckles across the top of its nose, which immediately is a giveaway for Asta. And so Nerigwynn kind of calms down for a second and puts two and two together, being a sharp kitty.
Makes a mental note to tell Asta off of that shape later. But you can have 2 temporary hit points at the end of your turn.
Hell yeah.
Cool. And that's part of your Twilight Sanctuary, correct?
It is, yes.
Awesome. Cool. The Harengon is still waiting, which means it comes back to Mona.
Okay. Let me have a look. Yeah. Okay, so I've got one slot left, so I think I'm gonna try command on Scarf Dickhead.
Okay.
Do you need to be able to see him?
But you
for
can't
that?
see him.
Oh no, I can't, can I? Damn it!
Oh, no.
How about that?
No,
Yeah,
if
I
it's a
completely
sight
forgot.
thing, you cannot see
What?
it.
I'm not. I don't know what I can. I mean, can I kind of gauge that my friends are looking in a direction?
You can, but not for a spell where you have to see them.
No, not for the spell. But...
You could gauge where he is from their reactions, and you can't see him, but you may have heard the noise when he talked to Nerigwynn, having had the little nick from the claw. But anything that you do will be at disadvantage.
I think I'll just yell at my friends first. You just be like, "Can you? Where are you looking at him?
It's right in front of me.
No, he got singed me, and now I cannot see him."
Oh well, that's just
I can't
unpleasant.
talk you, I'm a sneak.
You just hear, as soon as Mona says that, you just hear Mona, this wicked little laugh from the other side of Nerigwynn with just a kind of.
I'm not gonna be able to do anything, so I think I'm just gonna ready an attack with my greatsword. Just hold it ready for if he reappears, or I can feel him near me, or something like that.
Cool.
Yeah, that's pretty much all I can do. I'll do.
Nice.
And is it 2 temporary hit points? Is that
Nope. I am going to try and end the blind condition on Mona
Yes!
at the end of my turn, if that's an ability that I can do. I can
you
end
do
one
that?
effect on a creature, causing it to be. Oh no, sorry, I'm wrong. If it's charmed or frightened.
No, it is not.
No,
I'm
okay.
afraid.
I tried.
Thank you anyway.
I think Nerigwynn would try and that seems like fey magic. I'll try and push that out of Mona, and I think that twilight light just kind of descends upon you for a second, and but it doesn't.
I mean, Mona
I'm
gets.
just like, what is happening?
So Mona has now lost the ability to see someone, and now things are starting to sparkle around her. So I'd imagine she's probably a little unnerved, but.
This place sucks.
Oh yes, she's unnerved and damp.
In knitwear.
Which I'm sure by now is starting to shrink. Anyway,
I didn't agree to this noise.
so Nerigwynn, is that your action?
No, it's the end of Mona's turn.
Okay, cool. It does actually bring it round to your turn because the brigands are waiting on commands.
Okay, let's have some fun with this.
Just real quick, because you didn't do the other spell, does that mean I still get the temporary hit points?
No, because I actively did that because I didn't know what the effect was, so I think it's only fair for me to say that.
Okay.
I will, however, pull back a lip and go, "Do you want to glow?" And I would like him to make me a... Sorry, hang on a second.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, it's me. I get to roll. And oof.
Are you rolling an attack?
I'm rolling an attack. 24 to hit.
Yeah, definitely hits.
And
Finally!
a familiar beam of light bursts from Nerigwynn.
Oh no. Oh no.
Crispy fried
Barbecue
rabbits
rabbit.
left on the menu, boys.
Well, this one is trying to hurt you and is being really quite aggravating. So I feel like it's only fair this one goes. So that's 16 points of radiant damage.
Okay.
And he... the next person to hit him has advantage
All right.
as he starts to glow. And I don't know how you want to do that, Wayne, whether that means that Mona can see his aura or whether...
What does this spell actually say?
It just says, and the next attack made against this target before the end of your turn has advantage, thanks to the mystical dim light glittering on the target until then.
Okay, yeah, so I would say until your next go, there is a dim light glittering on this shape of rabbit, which means Mona would be able to see it for her next attack.
So that would
Oh
definitely
yeah.
cancel out your disadvantage, so you'd be at a straight.
Only for the next attack, though.
Yeah. After that, it's all hands off.
Oh god.
And I will give myself, because that's going to have annoyed him, 5 temporary hit points.
More.
That most definitely has annoyed him. And in fact, you immediately catch this look of surprise, and that kind of cheekiness and the smile, it very quickly kind of disappears as he realizes that you actually got him.
Oops.
And for a minute, there is a look of real hatred on his face as he glares at you, and then it kind of very quickly softens as he kind of raises an eyebrow and kind of like dusts himself off a little and tries to regain his composure, and he says, well, that did sting a little, and he is once again going to jump over you and land between you and Asta. He looks a little unnerved by the snake form of Asta, but knowing who it is, he is going to take an attack. So,
Why would you attack a defenseless giant snake?
I can't imagine.
Would you like me to list reasons?
That's a 10 to hit.
No.
No.
Ah.
Okay. Yeah, and he's just going to stay there because he is unaware of the fact that Mona can now see him. So he will stay there thinking he is safe behind Asta.
Oh, sorry about it.
Amazing.
So it will be to Asta's go.
Okay, I will try to constrict attack him.
Yes.
Ooh, okay.
Squish him.
Does he have to roll, or do you roll?
No,
an
it's
attack?
just an attack roll.
Mhm.
That is 19.
19 beats.
So that's 1d8 plus 2. That is 10. And he's now restrained.
Yeah.
He's now restrained. Okay, so that's 10 points of damage, you said, yes?
Yes.
Cool. Okay, so he is not happy at all, and you can see there is a kind of a slight panic creeping into his face as he realizes that his usual way of being fast and escaping is not an option now. So
I'm gonna sort of, as a snake, is Nerigwynn looking at us?
Yes, I would have
He
turned
jumped
around.
over you, right? Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm gonna sort of like point my snake head at the scarf in a sort of like.
in a facial expression that says, well, that's a nice color blue, isn't it?
I really liked your recreation of it, Theo.
I
It
know.
really sent me there.
Do that again, Theo. How would that go? How would that? That's the one.
So immersive.
I feel like I'm
Snakes
watching a
don't
real
have
snake.
eyebrows, but if they did,
What they do, they're just
like,
not
yeah,
the same as
they
ours.
do, sort of.
Little scaly one.
He says, making shit up. Okay, so he is now restrained. I should probably mark him as restrained if I can.
And that's
Do my
DC
thing.
14 to try and escape at the end of his turn.
14. Oh, where's my pen? Okay, 14 to escape. Okay. So I'm looking for something. What can I use for restrained?
There's like a grab symbol that might be worth it.
You know what? I will just use a net. There we go.
That also works.
That works. Okay, so it is then Mona's go. So Mona, having had the shock of suddenly not being able to see someone that you know was right there, you can now see that there is this kind of glow around them, almost like a kind of
And a snake wrapped around him.
a sparkling glow around this shape. But you can't actually see him. You can just see that Asta's snake form is wrapped around something that is glowing in the shape of a Harengon.
Asta must just look like he's around like a glittery lava lamp. Just
Exactly.
It's not very weird to you.
Okay. I will definitely move right up to the snake-based situation.
Yeah, get him, but don't hit me.
And I think I'm gonna kind of look over at Nerigwynn and sort of be like,
Try and take the scarf.
I cannot see it.
I will hiss in agreement.
Okay, I think can I sort of, would it be with disadvantage if I would try and grab the scarf?
Because he is restrained, I'll say no.
Okay, I'm just gonna kind of blindly go like
Feet around him.
I mean, I think, once you start feeling around, so to speak, it's a very odd sensation, but you reach out to what isn't really there, you can't see it, but your hands make contact with fur, and you kind of work out from the fact that he's
get up his
restrained.
nose.
Yeah. And there is a kind of an odd growl that comes from clearly from him as you are kind of reaching, and the frustration is getting to him.
Thwack him round the back of the head as he does that. Like, shut up!
Okay.
You brought this on yourself.
There is a slight kind of squeal as you hit the back of his head, but the growl continues. Okay, so you are going to. I will need an athletics roll from you, please.
Okay. Mm, 13.
So you reach out for the scarf and you put your hand around it, and you know that you've got it because it's this kind of thin piece of fabric. And as you try and pull it, it's almost like the scarf kind of pulls away from you. But you notice that it's not the scarf pulling away. It's that he is kind of twisting and trying so desperately to escape that it's actually meant that you missed grabbing the scarf. And now, because you can't see the scarf particularly, you can't quite figure out where to get another grasp on it. But you had it in your hand, so you know it's there.
God damn it.
Would you classify that as a kind of an attack, Wayne? Oh, actually, that would have gone after Asta did a constriction attack.
Yeah.
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 Okay, cool. So he's not glowing anymore.
No. So, that brings us back around to Nerigwynn.
Are either end of the scarf, are they kind of dangling out from Asta, or are they wrapped up in him as well?
The scarf is definitely kind of wrapped up because it's worn on him, but you can see the scarf and you can see it hanging down. It trails down. So if you wanted to try and grab it, I would say that you would definitely be able to see part of it because it is a very long scarf.
Can I just real quick? I think
Hence
Mona's
the name.
very confused. Mona's probably standing there like, did I get it? Did I?
No, not yet, but I'm going to help you, and I'm going to hop up onto Asta, trying to forget that Asta is a snake for a second. And basically, I will wait until Mona tries again, and when she does, I'm going to bat him around the face and ears gently with just my soft paw to distract him, thus giving her the help action.
Yeah, that's fair enough.
I love that. Just like,
okay.
Stop it.
So it comes back around to him, and the first thing he does is he kind of just looks past you guys, and you see him kind of just move his head as he's restrained towards his companions who are further down on the skiffs. And then he is going to attempt to break the restraining. And that was a 14, yeah?
Yes.
And it's a strength roll, correct?
Should be a strength for
yeah,
restrained.
it should be for restrained.
Yeah, it doesn't say. But...
Does not.
Oh, that's an 11, so no, he does not. Okay. Let me just check if there's anything else he wants to do. No, that's it. So he is now still restrained, and as I say, you can still feel him kind of struggling, Esther. He's certainly not sort of going quietly, so to speak. Which would bring us to the Harengon brigands who are in the boat. Let me see which one it is. Okay. So one of them down in the boat and over here is going to hop out onto the side and is going to move to there.
Just so you know, Wayne, he can still attack. It's just at disadvantage.
Okay.
Just in case you didn't realize that.
Yeah, that's fine. Yeah, and then that will bring us back to Aster, actually. Because the others will go after.
I will bite him.
Yeah.
That is a 22 to hit.
Yeah, definitely hits.
Which is 6 piercing damage.
6 piercing damage. Okay, let's have a look. Oof. He is not looking great. Like that, as you dig your teeth into him, I think you become aware of just how powerful you are as a giant constrictor. And this is a small, relatively small bunny. Not built for strength and definitely not built to withstand giant fangs biting
Your
into him.
natural prey, though.
So he is definitely taken
The
massive
circle of
damage
life,
from
that.
that.
So
And yeah, he's looking rough. So the Harengon down on the boat, who is still on the boat, hops off and again moves up to just behind his companion. And is going to... Let's have a look. Sorry.
That's all right.
Okay.
Is going to take a shot. Why did that do the wrong thing? There we go. Which is a 15 to hit Nerigwynn.
Ping! Either dodges out the way or hits my buckler as
I think because of your size and trying not to hit Agden, who's sort of right there, he manages to miss and just hit your buckler, and it literally just sort of, you see it coming towards you, and you just shift a little, and it just bangs off it and heads off into the swamp, plopping in the water nearby.
shout over my shoulder, "Careful, you nearly hit the person in the blue scarf."
You're so nice. And that brings us to Mona.
Okay. Is Nerigwynn, are you still on spec?
Yeah, I'll happily help you. You can have advantage on trying to grab that scarf.
Yep.
All right.
So
I will
it will
try
be, again, a strength athletics throw, and you could do it with advantage.
Nice. Okay, that's better. 21.
At 21, you
Yeah.
reach out, with Nerigwynn helping you and kind of directing you a little, you reach out and you can feel your hand grab the scarf, and you kind of twist it around your hand so that you know you've got a good grip on it. And are you just trying to hold the scarf?
I'm trying to remove it.
Okay.
I'm trying to take it off.
So you wrap
And
your
I'm
hand
not being
around.
gentle, because I know this is around his neck.
And you know that you've got a good grip on the scarf, and you kind of lean your weight back on one leg and you pull, and there
I feel
is
like I've got
definite.
like one
Does he
foot
like
up
spin
on Asta.
around? with me around the
Can't
He
outside.
just, I was going to say, if Asta lets him go, he just spins all the way off to the distance.
Bye.
No, so you literally lean back 1 foot on Asta as the snake, and you pull the scarf, and there is a squeal of pain from the Harengon as he is pulled right towards you. But the scarf definitely doesn't come with you. The scarf is like tightly wrapped around him, and you cannot pull it off him. But you definitely have got a grip on it now, and he is definitely feeling the tugging as you are pulling it.
I'm keeping hold of this.
Puny bandit.
Okay.
But because it's not coming off, I think I will look at Nerigwynn and be like, is this his ears? Why is it not coming off?
Yes, it's his ears. Pull harder.
Okay.
Oh my god, that's horrific. Oh god. So, you have his scarf in your hand, as far as you are aware, but you still cannot see him.
I've got a death grip on it.
The Harengon brigand is going to, the one left on the boat on the left, is going to hop off and join his companions, and the three of them now, you can see them running up towards you. And that brings it round to Nerigwynn's.
Are we killing him? Are we just trying to teach him a lesson? Which one are we working on now? I get confused.
I honestly don't know.
You three there, stop where you are and stop shooting us, or we will hurt your leader.
I'll rip his ears off.
Wow. You're yelling, Nerigwynn. I'm assuming that you're yelling this.
At the three who are approaching us at the moment.
They hear it, and there is a definite stop as the three of them kind of stop. And you can see that there is it's raised a doubt in their mind because they are not sure how serious you are, or perhaps they're not really sure that you can.
Would you like me to make a persuasion or an intimidation check?
I would like you to roll an intimidation check.
That seems
Am I able to help by like tugging harder on the scarf?
You know what? Yes, I will give you that. You pull harder, and there is definitely another kind of squeal from the rabbit.
I think because I heard the squeal, I know it's doing something.
Oh yeah.
Just like, oh, that's good. Okay.
So it's an 18 for intimidation, and thank you for that advantage because I also rolled a natural one.
Oh, well, that's all right. I rolled to see, just to give me an idea of how they would react, and I rolled a natural one. So there is this kind of hesitancy, and then as soon as Mona pulls and there is another squeal, they kind of stop and backtrack a little bit, and they still have their weapons drawn and are standing ready, but they have stopped coming towards you. And so they are braced there. And Nerigwynn, that's your go, yeah?
That is my action. I forgot to say, at the end of my last go, Mona, you get 4 temporary hit points. They don't stack, so if you've got any before, they replace those.
I haven't got any at the moment, so that's nice.
Cool. The other Harengon brigands on the boat, the one that's still awake, because one of them is still asleep, jumps off and moves up, and seeing his companion stop, is also stopped there, weapon drawn and waiting to see what happens next. So you are in this kind of standoff situation with them, and you hear, as there is this kind of moment of pause in the battle. I mean, Asta, you have the highest in terms of perception, you and Nerigwynn, really. But I think all three of you, in this moment of odd silence after all the running and the shouting and everything, you hear sobbing. For a second, you're sort of a little confused about what exactly is going on, and then it becomes fairly obvious that the sobbing is coming from your Harengon prisoner now.
Oh. Is he crying?
I mean, I hardly feel sorry for him. He did start this.
Why are you crying?
You just continue to hear this kind of slight sort of crying, and then you hear a kind of,
Oh, God.
but nothing is said. And
Insight check. Are these crocodile tears?
Oh, nice.
okay, roll me an insight check.
It is a 18.
An 18. Looking around, you see his companions, his crew, who are waiting nearby, can also see him because they can obviously see him as well as hear him. There is genuine sort of shock and confusion on their faces. Like, this is definitely not what they would expect from their leader. So it doesn't look like this is something, if it is crocodile tears, it's certainly not something they've ever seen him do before. And they all look a little stunned, a little kind of surprised and confused about this.
Ooh. Okay.
Pop, pop. Why are you crying? Isn't this what you
Yeah.
wanted?
Yes.
Let me go.
Why?
Well, no, because you know.
I just, well, I don't.
I mean, why should we let you go? I mean, you and your people have been running around this wild, stealing people's memories.
Hmm.
Well,
Did you think there was no consequences for things like that?
we're brigands. It's what we do.
You don't
But-
have to.
Besides, we didn't steal memories. We stole lots of things. Can I go now?
No. How does that qualify freedom? What?
Well, I'm just doing what brigands do. That's what we do.
Or we're
But-
just doing what heroes do.
It is true. I mean, technically, we are breaking several rules by not killing you now.
Yes, and you branded me
You are
and
the
I
bad
didn't
guy.
cry. Why are you crying?
Well, you pulled my scarf. You nearly throttled me.
Okay. You burnt my jumper. I am not crying.
I'm not sure how anyone could respond to that, to be honest. He just looks really kind of sheepish, and you see that some of his companions have kind of started walking towards and are clearly really confused by this and kind of they have their weapons out, but they're kind of at their sides. They don't look ready for a battle. It looks more like they are trying to figure out what the hell is going on.
I think Mona's going to kind of look at whoever's nearest and be like, what is this about?
The one who is nearest to you looks at you and literally just goes, "No."
Ah,
I'm thinking this is somebody who finally realizes there are consequences to his actions.
oh dear. Is that
You can
true?
see the his crew are kind of sort of talking amongst each other and kind of all looking a little confused and yeah, they're just really confused by this. And he just goes, what are y'all doing here anyway?
Traveling, minding our own business until you.
Well, you gotta pay a toll.
No, I don't
Why?
think we do.
Well, it's our causeway. We run this causeway.
Do you? You don't run it well. The infrastructure is awful.
Well, it's fine for us. But Well, it was till you lot came along.
We were just trying to get through, no problem. You're the one that started shit.
You came onto our causeway. We didn't start nothing.
Where were your
Just
signs?
trying to pass through.
Everybody knows this is our causeway. It's
Well,
called the
clearly.
Brigand's Causeway.
Well, clearly not everybody, otherwise we'd have been aware of it. So
Yes.
that's a very redundant statement, isn't it?
Could you get your snake to let me go?
No.
No.
I like you better this way.
Well,
Same.
I ain't gonna hurt nobody.
I don't know if the three of us have decided what we're going to do with you yet.
Well, please let me go.
I mean, Asta does look very hungry.
As he kind of slightly begs for you to let him go, his crew have got a little bit closer, and one of them just goes, Acton? What are you doing? And he immediately goes, nothing, I'm negotiating. Just get back, I'm negotiating.
I believe
He's
it's...
crying and begging for his life.
And the guy comes a bit closer to the other Harengon, and he goes, Are you crying? Is she right? Are you begging for your life? And Acton just goes, I ain't begging for my life. I'm negotiating. Just go
At
back
this
to
point,
the others.
Asta's gonna squeeze tighter and open his mouth real wide, like right next to his head.
Yes.
Acton squeals as you kind of squeeze him tighter, and then as he sees these jaws open, there is a complete and full-on panic. Like his little paws at the back are like proper pedaling to try and get away from you, and he just starts going, "Oh, please don't eat me! Don't eat me! Don't eat me! I won't taste good! Don't eat me! Please don't eat!" And his crew are visibly just shocked by this, and the one who was talking to him kind of puts his sword away, looks at the others, and they
don't
just
look
kind of shake their heads. They're like,
Oh, don't look so shocked. You'd be terrified too if a giant snake was going to eat you. I bet every single one of you would be.
one of the ones at the back just kind of, you hear him just mumble, "Yeah, but I didn't call myself the Bandit Prince of Prismere."
Oh, is that what? Oh, that's not a good name.
So Agden is now sort of terrified and sort of cringing and sort of muttering under his breath now as he faces this giant snake.
I'm gonna like lean on the snake and just sort of go like that and try and start a conversation.
His crew kind of chat amongst themselves, and the one who's at the front who kind of had the conversation or the words with him just kind of shakes his head and just says, "I'm going back to camp," and just puts his weapons away, turns around and says to the other two, "Are you coming? I don't want to watch this," and just literally walks away. The one that's further down on the other side is really confused by what's going on, but kind of looks at the others and just kind of shrugs, and they gesture towards the big stump that you saw in the distance. And they literally just put their weapons away and start walking down. One of them throws over his shoulder and says, well, I suppose you want to get something to eat or sit by a fire. We're up there."
Oh,
We're just going to finish. Can you do the air quotes thing? I haven't got fingers.
yes.
Negotiating with Agden.
One of them just kind of goes,
and
and
we'll
they turn and walk away.
Oh dear little rabbit. You have really been caught, haven't you? What are we going to do with you?
What are you going to do with me?
Well, I mean, we'd want to avoid having to, chop you down, but we'd need something in return.
Reciprocity, after all.
It is a rule.
All right, I'll give them back. I'll give them back.
You're going to give everything back?
But wait, but everything what?
You stolen.
But my hands are kind of tied up at the moment with a snake.
Not right now, bunny brain. When you're out.
Well, yes, I'll give them back when I'm out.
Okay.
Now,
and
you have to...
I guarantee that you are not to start shit with us or any other explorer outside of your little encampment again.
Well, I don't want to go back.
Back to where?
Up the tree.
No, they will thoroughly take the piss out of you because you cried.
No.
I mean, they shouldn't, because everybody has emotional moments, and it's very important for us to engage upon those when they happen.
I don't mean that tree. They're a bunch of idiots anyway.
What do you mean?
Look, I gotta do what I gotta do to stay free, and I don't want to go back up the tree.
Back up the tree? You're going to have to explain, Agden.
Yes, what do you mean free, and what do you mean tree?
Are you in trouble? Is this you trying to stop something worse happening to you than you are doing to other people?
Is this something to do with this stupid scarf? And by the way, can you make sure I can see you, please? Because I'm talking to nothing, and it's very disconcerting.
I can't really do that, but it'll wear off in like 24 hours.
Fine.
Or if one of your magic folk can remove a curse.
No, it's fine. I'm gonna like get some mud off of my trousers and just pat him on the top of the head so I know where the top of his head is.
It's like one of those markers they use in CGI.
Yeah. I'm gonna mocap him so I know what he's doing.
Mona slaps a mud pie on top of his head, and initially, for Mona, it's just this kind of weird floating mud pie, and then it starts to drip down, and you can see the kind of outline of his face. Asta and Nerigwynn are both having to forcibly stifle, laughing hysterically, as this white rabbit who has been crying is now sitting there with mud running down his face.
That is tragic.
Looking as tragic as he could possibly have looked in this situation.
I mean, hold on to his scarf for a moment, Mona, but...
I'm not letting go.
Okay, I think, Asta, I think you probably would like to be part of this conversation.
Yeah, Asta will let go.
He slumps to the ground, and
I'm still holding tight, by the way.
You can see his first inclination is to kind of bolt, and then he realizes that you are still holding his scarf, and he begrudgingly kind of just sits there and crosses his arms, looking pathetic.
And I will return to Asta form.
It doesn't make him feel any better.
He's even more dangerous like this.
He just sits there looking like a child that's being scolded.
Right. So let's get some answers out of you, little friend, says the tiny cat.
I think Mona's gonna squat down like a mum telling off a kid,
So
staring at a mud pie.
Oh yeah, staring at a dejected little mud pie.
My inclination is to believe that you are in some sort of trouble, which is why you are acting the way that you are. What did you do?
What do you? I told you I'm a brigand. I did brigand stuff and.
Yeah, what's this about a tree though? What's going on with the tree?
It's a long story.
We have
what
time.
else are you doing? It's not like you're going anywhere, is it?
Do you have an appointment?
Not anymore. I should cancel it right now.
No.
Oh, wait.
Y'all are hard
Believe it or not, we're actually trying to help you here. We're trying to find a solution whereby you do not have to be...
I don't need your help.
Oh, fair enough. Drown him here and there, then, I suppose.
Don't.
Okay, I'm gonna dangle him above the water.
No, don't drown me.
And I'll pull you back.
Do you get an inclination of the terror that you have inflicted upon others?
Well, they gotta pay their dues, and I gotta pay my dues.
What dues? What did they do?
First off, does this involve Pavlova?
Yes.
Why would it involve dessert?
He
Everything
means
involves dessert.
Bavlorna.
Uh-oh.
yes.
Well, yeah, I kind of, we have an agreement.
Oh, really?
Will care to elaborate on that?
Well, I give her some of the best of my wares that I get from people, travelers.
And she gives you...
Well, she kind of set me free, so...
From what?
The tree.
Yeah, from the tree. So I was up a tree, and I couldn't get down, and then I was down, but I was still attached to the tree, and then she set me free, but I had to then give her some of my wares when I did my thieving.
So this all happened because you got stuck in a tree?
Well, I didn't get stuck in a tree.
Oh, that's what it sounds like, though.
I got put in a tree.
Who put you
By
in the
whom?
tree?
Sibylla.
Zybilna put you in the tree?
Oh, this is a very bad bunny.
What did you do to get put in the tree?
How many times I gotta tell you? I'm a brigand. I was thieving. I wasn't hurting nobody.
You did a crime and you got in trouble, and now you're annoyed that you did a crime and got in trouble.
She put my scarf on up a tree, and I had to stay there. And then, Bavlorna came and took over, and my crew got me down, but I was still attached to the tree. And then Bavlorna did the magic thing, and I could come away from the tree with my scarf, but I had to give her some of my wares when I did my thieving.
So what happens if you stop?
Well,
What's she going to do?
Probably put me back up in the tree.
Okay. What if we said that we want her to stop doing things like that? And that's kind of part of the point of why we're here.
He's kind of quiet for a moment, and then you can see the kind of penny drops, and he goes, "Y'all are going to take on Bavlorna?"
Eventually.
And he just starts laughing. And he laughs, and he goes, I mean, no offense to y'all. I mean, you got me by my scarf, but she's pretty bad. I don't know if you know what you're getting yourselves into.
Well, we're going to go and find some information to start, and then we'll work our way back from that one. Presumably with some allies. I'm guessing that you're probably not happy with the current situation, even if you do get to brigand it up.
It is a bit muddy for little fluffy rabbits.
Also, you're giving her your best stuff, you said.
Yeah, you don't even get to keep it.
Well, just some of the best stuff, but, yeah, wait, hang on. And he reaches into his coat, and he pulls out a deck of cards, which he hands back to Nerigwynn.
I'm not going to pull one of these.
Doesn't have thumbs.
You recognize the cards as the cards that you have, that you carry with you. They're a deck of playing cards.
Oh, you rotten little fur bag. And I say that as someone who's had that said at him several times.
And he then reaches in again, and he pulls out a thimble, which he hands to Asta.
Thank you.
And he then reaches in again, and he pulls out a tiny little dream catcher that he gives to Asta.
Just out of interest, what pocket was that in? Because I was looking for that for weeks and I couldn't find it.
There's so many pockets.
And he then reaches in and he pulls out a tassel that looks like it's been pulled off something, and he gives it to Mona. And as soon as you see it, Mona, you recognize it as the tassel from the end of your charm. So he tried to take your charm and nearly got it off your sword.
You. Oh.
And he kind of gives them back and goes, "That's all I got from you lot."
Right.
Bloody lucky that's all you got.
We're going to need.
I mean, it was really easy. Y'all are really slow.
I'm sorry. How's your ankle?
But it's fine, barely a scratch.
You know, I can turn back into a snake.
Okay, I'm just saying. I wasn't going to do it again. I'm just saying you're a bit. It didn't matter.
I might have an idea.
Oh.
And I get this sort of idea from some of the stories that my Fairvolk read me, even before I was awake. He was very fond of stories about brigands, but brigands who are also heroes. Champions of the people, fighters for the weak. How would you like to be on the side of good for a change? You could probably still thieve. You need to keep one step ahead of Pavlova. But if you stole from her forces and the people who were trying to hurt others, and just made sure some of that went back to the hands of the people that are suffering, not only could you carry on thieving and testing your skills, you would become a hero, and everybody would be singing your song.
He looks dubious until you make the comment about singing his song, and then there is a kind of raised eyebrow. Roll me a persuasion.
Persuasion. Oh, it's good. It's 21.
Nice.
There is a definite kind of hesitance as he's playing this over in his head, trying to figure out how it works. And then there's a bit of a smile, and he's like, "Well, I mean, that's not a bad idea."
You still need to keep what you need to survive, obviously, but imagine how people would feel if you returned their stuff and stuff that Pavlova has taken from them.
You're much more likely to get gifts and appreciation and excitement.
I mean, I like the idea of people singing my song, but I don't think I want to cross Lorna. She's a
Well, maybe not her directly, but maybe some of her agents.
And you won't be doing it by yourself. There's us, and we've met plenty of other folks in this realm who would be pretty keen to get rid of her as well.
I mean, if there's still treasure, that'd be good.
Oh, stealing from rich people, there's nothing better.
Wait, I got an idea. Okay, if I say I'm gonna do this and I try and help y'all, will you tell my crew that this was all a plan? It was my plan.
We can say that we were part of your plan to make it look to her that you had been defeated.
Oh, that's good, because they're gonna be mighty disappointed, and I don't know.
No, this is all part of a larger battle, not some one-off little trinket adventure. A war.
So you can turn sides and start working for the good of the people around here and start really testing your skills and your men's skills.
And raking in the riches and fame.
Y'all make a good argument. All right, so what have I got to do? How exactly would this work?
You would know better suited than I who is rich in this swamp and who has got rich from the current situation and who is helping it stay in its current situation.
Yes, who's benefiting from this dampness?
There's only one real person who benefits. That's slack-jawed Lana.
Yes, but she must have people working for her out in the swamp somewhere.
Well, we've been working for her,
Then there will be
Not
others.
anymore.
I suppose. I mean, the Bullywogs always got stuff, but they're a bit close to her, to be fair.
I
No.
maybe think start getting connected with the other camps of the brigands and start uniting yourselves.
Well, if I can get my men to believe this was the plan, then we can tell the others, and maybe it'll work out. But all right, well, how do I know you're not going to tell Lorna and put me back in the tree?
I mean, she sounds like the sort of person that doesn't even like cats.
No. Also, we could have squished
I don't
you.
think she likes anything.
Exactly. Who doesn't like cats? I mean, like, obviously rodents and small birds, but, I mean, who? That's just evil.
You're evil.
Sure.
No, Aster could have eaten you whole, and he didn't. So we, if we wanted to do
took a mighty
Lorna,
fine bite out.
you'll be fine. Walk it off.
I'm still bleeding.
So am I. And
You're not
sizzling.
bleeding. Oh, that was stopped hurting a while ago.
It's like a bit of bacon.
All right. Well, okay. So, all right, we got a deal then.
Wonderful. I'm going to extend a hand to shake his hand.
He kind of gingerly extends a paw and then sort of a bit more confidently shakes it.
Yeah, I do a very unnecessarily exaggerated kind of handshake.
This is a social contract. I'm fairly certain the Fae have rules about that.
Rules are meant to be broken. Oh, no.
Nope.
Wait,
No, not that one. No.
All right. That's not what I meant. All right. And
Do you need us to do any dramatization for your friends up on the stump? Or have you got this?
yeah, you gotta tell them it was a plan, because they aren't gonna believe me.
Okay, we can.
I mean, they saw me being, I was a little upset when y'all caught me, and they were watching. So we gotta we'll go in as friends, and we'll just say it was all part of a plan for Lorna.
To swap sides.
Yeah, it's a bigger plan to.
Well, I mean, truth be told, it is part of a broader plan to make things better around here for everybody.
Well, that's true. All right, then let's go. Let's go to the camp.
We shall follow him up to the camp.
Cool. And you head up along more of the causeway. Him limping ahead of you, still bleeding from 2 puncture holes from Aster's giant teeth. But he kind of makes his way through. Murta, do you let go of his scarf?
Reluctantly.
As soon as you let go of it,
finger by finger, I let go of it.
As soon as you let go of it, he kind of pulls it towards him and kind of wraps it around him, and is like almost sort of bundles it sort of close to him as he walks. And you walk up towards the stump. As you get closer to this giant stump, you can see that there are actually steps cut into the side of it that are well worn and have been used for a long time. And at the top above, where the plateau of the stump is, you can see light coming from there. And you can see firelight. And as you make your way up, you can start to hear voices and people there. As you come over the top, Egden in front of you, you can see that there are about 10 to 12 different tents set all around, campfires burning here and there, a central campfire where there are some just kind of wooden stools that people obviously gather. And there is probably 20 odd brigands sitting in little groups and stuff. A few of them standing and chatting. And as Egden kind of comes over the top and they can see him, there is that kind of that hushed silence, punctuated by people gossiping as he comes over. And he kind of stops and looks a little hesitant, and then he kind of throws his scarf over his shoulder and he strides towards his tent. And the guys that you saw earlier who came up are kind of standing with their arms crossed, just watching. And he walks past and he just says, "Don't nobody worry. It's all part of a plan." "Ha, I had you guys, didn't I?" And he points to them. And he says, "We had a plan. We're going to be rich and we're going to be famous. And I'm going to be a Prince of Prismere, but we may not be the brigands no more. We're going to be the heroes." And you can see there's a bit of kind of like, what's going on?
It's true. We travelled all this way to make everything better for this place. And part of the way to do that is to turn things against Bavlova.
And we knew one of the strongest ways to do that is to obviously talk to you. You powerful
obviously.
force.
She means me, but y'all are included. Yeah.
Yes.
Right. Well, they're going to sit with us for a while. I'm going to go and clean up because we did real good. We did real good play acting, but I'm really serious about it. So I'm going to clean up. And he disappears.
He got very method. There was actual injury involved. So.
And he disappears into a tent, ostensibly to clean up. And you guys kind of head towards the center fire where there are these kind of stools to sit. The guys who were sort of witness to all of this, one of them is kind of leaning against the tent and listening to all this. And as you guys walk to the fire, he literally just kind of smiles and just shakes his head, like clearly knows exactly what's going on. And after a couple of minutes of you sitting there, he and one of the others who was down there come in and just sit at the fire with you. And they just make very polite general conversation, give you, a thing of water if you want some. Not much chit-chat, but just clearly, obviously trying to break the ice and make sure that you are seen as, if not friends, at least allowed in the camp. Roll me a perception throw, all three of you, please.
Okie dokie.
18?
Mona?
I'm pretty sure I fell asleep. That's a 1.
Asta?
22.
Jeez. Yeah, so Mona is busy sort of just looking in the fire and actually probably very carefully reattaching the sort of tassel that goes on the bottom of your charm and making sure it is very neatly affixed with huge amounts of care and amazing dexterity, considering that Mona comes across as being this kind of big sword wielder. You guys see her being very specific about cleaning.
Yeah, I'm very clumsy.
This.
This is really unusual.
And you could tell because there is much concentration and much kind of...
Oh yeah, the tongue is that.
Totally. But Asta and Nerigwynn, you notice that there are a couple of groups of people standing around, kind of these Harengon, kind of watching you, some of them chatting to each other, some of them just kind of obviously very curious about this. But there is a group, and they're behind them. You can see that there is definitely somebody who is hiding. You literally just see this kind of occasional Harengon face kind of peer out, and then behind this group again. Agden eventually comes out, having cleaned up, and suddenly sort of all very spruced up. The same scarf. That scarf is exactly as it was, but he's wearing a very clean set of clothes, if not actually fancy.
Oh.
And he comes out and he just makes a very big show of kind of like telling everyone what a fight it was and how much they battled and how they fooled everyone who was there, and it was all part of a plan. It's been his plan all along. And eventually he makes his way to you and sits down, and you guys just sit there for a few minutes, and he says, y'all going up to find Lorna?
I think we're heading to the Soggy Court first.
Yes.
Well,
We're going to Downfall. That's where we're
the,
going.
the Soggy Court and Lorna are both in Downfall. Yep.
Well, I don't think we're going to actively seek her out just yet. Maybe, like Nerigwynn was saying, get some information and some backup.
Well, keep an eye out for her little Laurenlings. They run and tell her stuff.
Her what?
Oh, she calls them Laurenlings, like
Laurenlings.
Bavlorna. They basically look like little versions of her.
Oh.
Yeah, and they kind of creep around and they do stuff for her, but they tell her stuff too.
What do we do if we see one? Do we squish it?
I don't rightly know, but they're creepy as all hell, but then so is she.
Oh.
Well, just a quick question. Who is that? And Nerigwynn will make a motion to the Harengon that was been watching them.
Does that mean I can now see them, now that Nerigwynn's pointed them out?
But, the one who's hiding around the back?
Yes. He seemed very interested in us.
Yeedle, come here. And you just see this head this head pops out and then kind of goes back again.
I love that this swamp is conveniently in the Bible Belt, apparently. Well, hot dang! Go bless!
I don't know what's up with him. He's just, I don't know. He had a really bad time last week, and so he's a little skittish.
Asta leans over to Nerigwynn. It's like whispers, I think he might have been around when you might have been a little heavy-handed on that last group of brigands.
What, you mean when I saved your memories?
And did a murder.
I mean, I wasn't actually that bothered, but thank you. I'm losing them all the time. It don't make no difference to me.
Well, if you're losing them all the time, you don't have that many to spare.
Well, I won't remember afterwards, will I?
I love Asta so much.
I mean, you can't argue with that.
Nope.
I'm going to put a pin in that logic.
But anyway, I think that's why he's hiding from us, because on account of the crispy
the
frying.
exploding, yes.
Yeah.
I did it again today, but it didn't seem to do as much, which is a good thing.
Yeah, maybe stop doing that. Just.
No.
All right.
The end.
How about no?
How about no?
Or at least save it for that Bavlorna.
Oh, I
You
fully
can do it
intend
to
to
her.
be fully intending to have a spell slot secured for her. I mean, it helps because it means that Mona will be able to hit her better as well.
It does.
Yeah, it makes people easier to hit.
The sparkly stuff, I assume.
Oh yes, that was very helpful when he became completely invisible. I'm assuming I can see him now, right?
You can see him now.
Okay, because yeah, cool.
So you guys sit there. He goes off a little bit again to sort of carole and entertain the troops with his sort of stories of the adventure and what happened today. And it gets bigger and bigger as you hear him telling it. And the people who weren't there are told about, these huge explosions and how, he fought you all off. And his acting and his, how incredible his actions were, how fast he was. It goes on, it gets bigger and bigger. The guys who were there, who are sitting with you, are just kind of bemused by it and kind of listening to this. There's just two of them, and the one says to you, "So he's going to help you with Bavlorna."
Well, he's going to help everybody with Bavlorna.
Mm-hmm.
How is he going to do that?
Well, not directly fighting with her, because that is foolish, but rather targeting her lieutenants and her servants, just making it a bit more difficult for her to keep tabs on everything and making sure the wealth of this swamp is going back to the people who actually need it. And of
Yes, she
course,
seems to have spread her soggy tendrils throughout this land, and we want to sort of cut some of them off.
and of course, not everything you're going to get is going to have an own for itself, so a lot of it will probably end up in your pockets as well. And imagine how much easier it is when everybody in this part of Prismere likes you and sings your song and wants to know you.
Well, I mean, I don't have a song, but we can get behind.
Not yet.
We can get behind that. Although I wouldn't count on Agden being front line with Bavlorna. We suspect he's pretty terrified of her.
I
feel like he's more the sort of face of the operation. The morale officer kind of thing. I feel like most of the actual useful stuff, don't tell him we said this, will be coming from you all.
You lot are pretty sharp.
Well,
Well, we just follow on and see if we still get the good stuff and we don't get any wrath. I don't really care who's in charge. And he pulls out a flask and offers you a drink of some pretty foul-smelling but alcoholic beverage.
okay. I have some.
Yeah, so we'll have some too.
Yeah, he passes it around, and they basically just spend the rest of the next kind of couple of hours just generally chatting, drinking away, and Agden pops back to the fire to entertain you with his stories of some of his adventures, and then he kind of does the social butterfly thing and goes over there to that group, and then goes back and then goes to that group, and clearly loving the attention and loving the fact that he now has a whole new story to concoct and to tell people. And at one point you hear him talking to somebody, and just at the corner of your ears you can hear him talking them through how to change the lyrics to his song, like what he would suggest. And doing that thing where he says like, but you, I mean, you're the expert. That's just a suggestion. I'm just saying you could try it, but it kind of does sound good. It rolls off the tongue. But obviously, I mean, you know what sounds great and how to sell our story the best. But I'll come back to you on that. And he carries on his little performance.
He's the best worst person, isn't he?
Yep.
He is. So you guys, are you going to stay there for a little while?
I mean, do either of you need a short? I mean, Asta, you recover your what's it called?
Wild shape.
Short rest, and
I have 2 slots, so I still have 1 remaining. So I'm not like, if you don't want to rest, I'll be fine.
Well, I mean, because whilst you're doing that, I can burn. What do I don't think I recovered.
I mean, they have expressed that they're happy for you to stay there for a little while, and considering you guys have had a fight and trekked through the swamp and that kind of stuff, you could actually use this opportunity to have a short or long rest if you wanted to.
Well, I can recover my channel divinity then as well.
Okay, cool. So we'll have a short rest.
Yeah, says Chris mechanically, but yeah, I think a short rest would benefit us all.
Cool. So you guys sit there and have a little bit of their food, which is mainly vegetarian, and although it tastes fine, initially you're a little hesitant when they present you with a bowl of stuff that looks like they just scooped up some of the water from down below, but actually it's not too bad, and you guys at least have some sustenance and some rest. So I think what we'll do is we will take a break there, if that's all right with everyone.
Yay!
Amazing.
Cool. We will take a break. It is now 5:02, so we will be back, say 8:10, if that's all right with everyone.
Awesome.
Thank you to everybody who's here watching us, and thank you for being with us tonight as we carry on our weird adventure. And we will be back at 8:10 for more on The Wild Beyond the Witchlight.
Part 2. See you in a bit. And we are back.
Hello, welcome back to the second half of tonight's episode of The Wild Beyond the Witchlight. Thank you again for being with us this evening. And we left our adventurers as they encamped with the former brigands, now turned possibly heroes of the realm, as they have convinced the brigand Prince of Prismere to perhaps stick to the straight and narrow going forward, which they did by essentially beating him into submission. So they have spent some time resting at their encampment with the other Harengon brigands, some of whom were clearly not taken in by his performances. But nonetheless, they seem to have made a group of allies of the brigands, despite the rocky start that they had encountering them when they first entered Prismere. So, you guys have had a little bit of a chill time, a rest there. Is there anything that you would like to ask or chat to any of the brigands about before you head off? Or anything you'd like to chat amongst yourselves about before you take on the next part of your journey?
Do you want to see if they have any more information about Bavlorna?
Ooh, yeah.
I'm not sure if there's any specific stuff we need to ask about her, but I mean, we found out that stuff about the Lawnlings. That's interesting. She's quite clearly rooted in... what's it called? Help! She's up near Soggy Bottom, the...
Downfall.
Downfall, thank you. But yeah, if there's anybody else we should probably be looking out who's on her side, apart from the Bullywugs.
I think if you chatting to the guys there, I mean, Agden is essentially of very little help, because most of the questions you ask him result in him telling you a story about how he encountered this or that, or saved this or that, or fought his way out of this or that. So his
have all his original "I'm a Great Brigand" stories already become how wonderful a hero he has?
Oh no, there is a definite element of how he's kind of always really been a hero. It was just, just...
Has he done the thing yet where he's tried to tell the story that we were just in a different way? And we're like, but we were there.
Oh yeah, that's as you have been there. He has told that 3 or 4 times to different groups, and the embellishment has begun well and truly. It's got much bigger already. The fight was incredible. He was spectacular.
Oh, we were terrible. All 3 of us started crying. He cried. I don't know what you're talking about.
Yeah, but then he performed so well, and it was all part of his plan. Always has been. So yeah, there's lots of that going on. But the other guys that you talk to, some of the other Harengon, they don't have a huge amount of information, but they definitely let you know that you're kind of heading in the right direction. I think things that you would probably learn easily from them is that as you get closer to Downfall, you will definitely need some kind of raft or boat. Because the water is higher there.
Okay.
Actually, so I'll do this. They will give you sort of instructions in terms of where you're headed. You know the direction you're headed in, but they kind of confirm that that's the way to go. And they give you an idea of where along that route to keep an eye out for boats that you can use, because the people leave skiffs here and there so that you can use them to cross deeper areas of water when the waters are high. So they will give you some ideas of where to find those, even though, as you know, distances are a little variable here. The other thing, Nerigwynn, roll me an intelligence check.
It is a 14.
Yeah, that's enough. I think the descriptions that they give you as you ask a little bit more about the Lawnlings, triggers some memories, and they sound very much like the frog-like creature that was seen under the bleachers, under the stands in the big top.
Oh.
Shit, I
The
forgot
thing
about
I tried
that.
to catch. Oh, I immediately tell Asta and Mona once I start getting the information. It's like, I've seen one of those creatures back at
What?
the Witchlight Carnival. I tried to catch it, but it was too fast.
One of them was at the carnival?
And I find that oddly coincidental.
Oh, I don't like that. No.
I think that someone has been reaching beyond the mirrors, keeping an eye on what's going on. It is entirely possible she may know we exist.
I think Mona's now looking around to see if there's any of them here. Like,
I love that Mona's that kind of person. It does remind me of some sort of mumsy people I know, where you kind of like, as soon as you talk about something horrible like big spiders or anything, the first thing they do is that. Like, first thing they do is like lift things to see if there's a spider under it.
Yep.
Just in case they catch you talking badly about them.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So that definitely rings a bell. And then I think the only other information that you get is stuff that you already know, that the Soggy Court, as it's known, is home to bullywugs that have a kind of a society of bullywugs there that has these kind of delusions of grandeur and think of themselves almost as nobility, hence the Soggy Court. But from what you've been told already and what they tell you, you get the impression that they are less physically dangerous as they are just overly ambitious and probably misguidedly so. But that's all you know. And that Downfall is in fact home to the Soggy Court, and that is where Bavlorna lives. Not in the Soggy Court, but in Downfall.
Have to definitely keep an eye out.
Can I ask around to see if anyone has any information about this Clapper Claw? Like where we might find him?
Yeah, sure. Let's see. So you have a conversation with a few people asking about it. Most of them don't seem to have any idea what you're talking about, including looking slightly concerned about you when you mention a scarecrow that has giant claws. And they may be a little concerned about you. Until one of them kind of goes, "Oh, I've seen that. I see. It's a weird little scarecrow thing, but it didn't have a head when I saw it.
Huh.
It didn't have no head. It was sitting there with big claw things. I know that's why I know it. Perfectly ordinary scarecrow otherwise, but big claw things. It was all a bit weird, but no head.
Right, and where?
I mean, I don't know his
whereabouts?
name. It was a bit difficult to ask, to be honest. But anyway.
Well, he probably wouldn't have been able to tell you, even if he did ask. If he didn't have a head.
Well, that's a very, very good point, I suppose. Yeah.
Yeah. Not wrong.
Where did you see this? Did you say?
Oh, he was somewhere in Downfall. I was up there
Right.
trading with the bullywugs. I'm pretty sure he was around there.
Helpful. Thanks.
But I don't know. I didn't pay much attention. It was a scarecrow. I mean, it was a bit weird, give you that. But
Where we are.
I mean, it's a Feywild, isn't it, love?
Isn't it, darling?
Friend of yours?
Well, not yet. Hopefully.
Oh, aren't you a little ray of sunshine?
Yeah.
All right then. Well, good luck with your making friends, I guess.
Thanks. I don't need help. I'm sure it'll be fine. But thanks.
You never know. All right.
Has that one got a parasol?
No, but there's an awkward silence as you both stand looking at each other, not quite knowing what to say next, and then he just goes, "All right, I'm off." And then
Right.
Wow.
But nice talking to you. Thanks for the information.
speaking of shade.
Ooh! So after this lovely, warm interaction full of compassion and friendship, can I just every person that we occasionally bump into or chat to, can I just very quickly be asking whether they've seen a little cub? What's the name of the
Displacer
species?
cub.
Displacer cub. Or is it Hurley or Burley who's missing?
It is Hurley who's missing, and it's Burley that you know.
Okay.
That you have.
Either Hurley or a cub. Just if they've seen or heard of anything to do with those two.
Sure.
Or a girl in a pig mask.
No, we don't want
I don't
to
want to
find
find
her, Nerigwynn.
No, we
How
want
many
to know where
times?
she is so that we can
why?
be elsewhere.
So we can avoid her.
Exactly.
Yes? Okay.
You ask around the camp, and unfortunately, there is no response to any of those three things. Nobody seems to know specifically any of those. You do, a few people kind of say things like, "Oh, there's lots of weird people around. Like this, they may be somewhere else in Prismere. It used to be a big land, like this kind of thing." But nobody that it rings a bell of recognition with. Yeah, so there's, like I say, there is a general kind of like they could be anywhere if they're lost in Prismere, but nobody actually has seen them or has any particularly helpful directions or contact for you.
I will say to them then in that case, well, if for whatever reason you come across somebody of that description, if it is the first two, tell them to that we're looking for them and that to go somewhere perhaps that we can find them or that is noticeable or safe. If it is Pig-Face Girl, run. Do not tell her that we exist.
You never saw us, right?
Never, ever. We died. We're gone.
Mona telling a small group of Harengon this and having this conversation with them, I think at the end of it, there's just three of them sort of listening to you talking, saying this about the Pig-Face Girl, and three of them are like, right.
Yes.
All right, stay away from the Pig-Face Girl.
She's not done anything, but she's fucking creepy.
Gotcha.
Okay.
I mean,
Okay,
maybe
good.
we're misjudging her. It's just occurred to me that, she's never done anything to us. She
She's
might
a
be
little
perfectly
girl.
nice.
With a pig face mask.
Yeah, but she might have been cursed or something. You don't know that.
No part of that.
I feel bad all of a
welcoming.
sudden.
Oh well, I mean, you can check if she's okay, but I'll give you a white burst when you do that.
You mean it's not a normal thing for human children to put on pig face masks? They put on cat masks. That's terrifying. Have you ever seen that? Who would do such a thing?
I suppose it would be, wouldn't it? Oh dear.
Well, you're going to turn around, talk to a normal human, and all of a sudden you've got a giant cat staring at you.
Someone should probably let Nerigwynn know it's not the face of an actual cat they're wearing, because
Jesus.
I mean, that would be
Chainsaw
terrifying.
Massacre nonsense.
Yeah. No wonder they're terrified. I mean. So unfortunately, no particularly helpful information regarding those three things.
No, but just so long as they're aware for what to do if they do come across them.
The pig face girl.
No.
Oh God! I hope they don't get those three confused.
One of the people you were talking to has a note that says "Displace a cub, yes," Burley, yes, pig-faced girl, no.
Play dead.
So they are.
Yeah, but what if she needs our help? I feel bad about this whole situation. I feel like I've judged her too quickly, and there could be a number of reasons why she's got a pig face that it doesn't mean she's a bad person.
You're far too kind, Aster. I mean, go ahead. I'm gonna go ahead and not.
I mean, I think I've made my statement on animal faces on children.
Also,
quite
if
clear.
she is evil, we don't want to anger her, so it might be a good idea to be nice.
Oh God!
I'm just saying.
I had so blissfully forgotten about her. It was so nice.
I feel like Nerigwynn feels like his job is done and goes and curls up near the fire, waiting for his friends to decide they're finished.
Cool and great. Cool and great. Yeah, Mona's done confusing and freaking out people.
Cool. Well, if you guys are finished having your chats with people, you gather your stuff and get ready to head off. Agden, in true form, makes a huge performance of bidding you farewell and thanking you for playing along with his plan, for being part of his carefully constructed theatrical presentation to turn the tide, so to speak, and sort of waves you off. And you can hear, as you go into the distance, him kind of humming the new words to his new song. So the occasional word trying the brigand replaced with hero, Prince of Prismere, the kind Prince of Prismere. Just trying, seeing what rolls off the tongue as you head off into the distance.
I mean,
Wow.
He's got the iambic pentameters all wrong, but he'll get there.
I will take your word for it.
I don't think anyone said he was bright.
No.
So you guys head off, and it's not very long from sort of stepping down from the giant tree trunk that you are back in the familiar thick fog and the familiar smells and dampness of what you have come to know as Hither. And you start making your way through the mud for most part. When you're leaving, the waters are low, so it's easier than the deep water, but it is still very muddy. And you heading in the direction that you have been told is downfall. So I need everyone please to roll me a survival roll.
Okay.
Okay.
Esther,
18.
Nerigwynn,
4.
Mona.
14.
Nice. As you guys are making your way through, keeping an eye out for, puddles of what you think could be quicksand.
Leeches.
Mona constantly on the lookout for leeches. And you're making your way. Nerigwynn, are you walking or are you being carried?
No, I'm walking, but I'm somewhat unnerved at the moment, so I'm looking for children wearing animal faces and snakes.
Oh God.
So with
It's been a weird sort of day.
With the usual confidence that you have come to be used to with Nerigwynn, Nerigwynn is sort of strutting along, jumping from fallen branch to fallen rock to to area of vegetation to try and avoid as much of the mud as he can, but is distracted, looking left, right, and center. And Nerigwynn, the first you realize of this is when you feel something damp against your whiskers, and then there is a bubble of muddy swamp gas kind of pops next to you.
Oh! Yes.
That's so cute. So I need you, please, to roll me a wisdom saving throw.
Theoretically, being a cleric, I should be good at this. Okay, it's an 18.
An 18. Cool.
I have rolled 5 13s this today. I don't know why.
Well, I mean, we didn't do so great the last one, so
Yeah.
there were lots of low rolls. So this pop happens, but thankfully, because you feel it on your whiskers, you manage to turn your head away as this pops, and there is a foul smell, but you immediately hold your breath for a few seconds, sort of remembering what happened before, and you kind of brace yourself, wait for a few seconds, breathe out, and then you kind of stand there waiting. Mona and Asta, you kind of have walked a few steps ahead, and you turn around just to see Nerigwynn sitting on this fallen branch, just going, and then opening one eye, and then sitting down and sighing.
I think I'll just say to Asta, like, does he often do this?
Not that I know of.
Watch for
Are
swamp
you
gas.
all right? Oh, I see.
Ah, right. Do you want a lift?
No, I'm feeling. I will need a lift at some point, I'm certain, but for now, I will save your knitwear.
Ah, thank you.
Cool. And you rejoin your companions, and you carry on slogging your way through the mud. You guys kind of push on, making fairly good time for what you have become used to traveling, although it is still difficult to get through the mud, and you do have to face a couple of hours of deeper water as the now familiar waters start to rise. You've become a little more adept at getting around. The swampland just seems to be never really changing. There are trees, and you can see the shadows of trees as you go, but it is just this swampy morass that just feels like it goes on and on and on. And having had a bit of a break from it again, it doesn't take long before you start to feel just a little bit miserable with being back in this dampness, and it just feels a little sort of foreboding and horrible. But nonetheless, you push forward.
I think Mona's trying to like live in the memory of that tavern while she's trudging through this trash.
that would make sense. Esther occasionally catching Mona kind of staring off into the distance with a wistful look. But you guys make your way through, and you carry on for a good few hours. As you are traveling, having been going for a few hours now, you start to see that ahead of you, it feels like, although you can't make out very much in this fog, it feels like there is a sudden sort of a gap of trees. There doesn't seem to be those dark shadows ahead of you that stretch up into the mist. It feels like there is sort of flatter ground ahead with no trees. And as you sort of step into this area, the first thing that happens is that, Mona, you feel a kind of a metallic crunch under your boot, and you look down to see a piece of broken metal that looks remarkably like a pauldron or a piece of shoulder armor that has fallen. It looks old and has clearly been in the mud for a long time, so it's difficult to tell how old. But you haven't felt or seen anything like that before traveling through here.
Can I like move it around with my sword and see if there's any other bits near it?
Sure. You move that piece around, and it moves. It's loose. Excuse me. As you guys sort of step forward even a couple of steps, although there is still this low-hanging mist, you can see that there is in fact quite a big expanse that is open and devoid of trees and vegetation. You do notice that it looks like there probably were trees and vegetation here, but they all seem to have either been chopped down or been knocked down or something. Roll me a perception roll, Mona.
Okie dokie. Do. 10.
Cool. So you sort of poke around and with your sword and have a look at this thing. It definitely, as I said, is a piece of armor. And as you take a few steps forward, you can see that there are a couple of other pieces here and there. Ahead of you, there's a few pieces, again, sunk in the mud and almost covered. But that glint of metal is sort of unmistakable, and you haven't seen anything like that before in the time you've been here. So it's very obvious to you.
Can I flag that to my friends? Just sort of be like, oh, there's bits of armor in this lodge. I'll sort of gingerly lift up that pauldron bit on the end of my sword a little bit to show them.
Fair enough.
Do we see any other bits and pieces, or is it just a few around Mona?
Do you want to roll me an investigation check?
Yeah, sure. Do you see anything, Asta? 7.
I mean, from where you are, low to the ground, because you're walking, you can see the piece that she's holding out to you, and you can see where she's pointing out there are some kind of pieces in the mud glinting. But unless you want to go and have a closer look, you can just see that there are a few pieces in the mud.
Did somebody lose their armor there or something?
I don't know. I can't really see much more than just some random bits. Like, I don't see any... I'm assuming I didn't see any bones or anything, right?
No.
Okay. Yeah, I don't see any, bits that would be inside the armor.
I mean, our previous experiences kind of indicated that the swamp reclaims that sort of thing very quickly.
Oh, yeah, that's true.
Cool.
What is with this bit that has no... Why is it so open?
Don't know. It does seem a bit odd. Does it look like it's been man-made, so to speak?
Yeah, are there any tree stumps that have been chopped or anything?
Roll me. All three of you roll me a perception roll.
Okay.
Can do. I'm out of good rolls.
Cannot do.
Can do. I get a 7. I'm too small.
Aww.
Mona.
14.
Asta.
I got a 21.
Oh!
Asta with the big numbers.
So yeah, I mean, you guys, now that Mona has pointed it out and you're having a look around, it becomes pretty clear collectively to you that this looks like it was... You have stepped onto the beginning of what was once a battlefield of some sort. The vegetation and stuff has been long chopped down, trampled, burned down, whatever it was. But you can see from the way it's this open space and these pieces of armor that you feel like this was definitely a battlefield.
Is there battles in the Feywild? I didn't, and this armor doesn't look very magical.
Whenever there's large groups of any sort of people, I assume there must be some sort of conflict on occasion.
Yes, but like a old school, like a normal battle? I don't know. The rest of this world seems so weird and weird. This seems too normal.
Well, you don't know. It wasn't a weird battle.
Oh, you know, they might have been giant hamsters wearing armor.
Oh no. Now that's all she can think of.
Or like a whole army of girls with pig faces.
Oh my god.
That's all she can think
Or
about.
maybe they were fighting for the hand of the girl with pig face.
Fingers are in ears. Fingers are in ears.
Would one of you like to have a closer look at the armor?
Yeah, go on.
I'm too freaked out. Not me.
Okay. That's to have a look. Roll me an investigation roll.
I've dropped that.
Oh no,
cauldron.
investigation.
Actually,
I'm not good at
I
that.
take that back. Roll me a history roll.
Oh, I'm not good at that either, but we'll give it a go.
I wish it was my other self.
11.
Hey.
Yeah, I would say probably. Yeah, having a look at it, the armor, although sort of corroded and clearly very old, the markings on it to you look like what you have seen elven armor have upon them. So the piece that you're looking at definitely to you has the impression that it looks like elven-made armor.
Oh, if there's any markings on that at all, I can read that for you.
I think it's some kind of elven armor.
Elephant.
There are no markings in terms of language, but the shape and the engravings on it are definitely of elven origin. They kind of the kind of decorations that you would expect to see on elven armor.
So we're going with giant elvish hamsters fighting for the hand of the pig-faced girl.
I'm not okay with this story.
Having been in the Feywild and lived with elves, would this be like a big famous battle that Asta would have A, heard about, B, remember being told?
No, I don't think as yet
Okay.
it would be ringing any bells for you. Yeah, but you are still on the at the beginning of this open, which is quite a huge open area. It's I'm talking like the size of a football field kind of thing in front of
So
you.
we can see the edges of it.
So you can see where the vegetation on the sides ends, and then it just kind of curves and following the edge that you can see. It's not like it's just a little circle the size of a parking lot.
But it's also not like a
huge.
vast plain.
It's peculiar that the
It's big.
vegetation hasn't reclaimed.
That's probably magic or something, I'd say.
Yay, more weird stuff. Oh well, things are probably going to leap up and attack us, so we might as well go and see what it's about.
How
Oh,
do we do
good.
this? Do we go round? Do we skirt around the edge, or do we just gung ho through the middle?
I think we should stick to the edge just a little bit. Like you pointed out, it's a bit strange that none of the plants have grown back.
What? Oh, yes. Nerigwynn's about 20 feet almost into the open.
Oh, good! Okay! I'm gonna have to follow bloody Nerigwynn, because I don't want him to get sucked into the ground again, so I'm gonna follow with my sword.
Asta, do you have an ability to sort of detect magical auras and things like that? I didn't pack it today.
Let's see if I did. Oh, I can do it anytime. It's a Furbolg thing. I mean, I can, but this place is very magical, so I don't know how helpful that will be, but I can do it.
All right, just looking for sort of weird effects that might spring up and attack us, or
That's
blow up in
everything.
our faces, or...
It's everything!
I mean, I know I'm still describing the Feywild, but...
Nerigwynn, if it make you feel better, I'm happy to do it.
I just think forewarned is forearmed.
I'll
Forelegged.
cast Detect Magic.
Cool. So, how do you cast Detect Magic? Do you just close your eyes and...
I just close my eyes and it sort of happens.
So Asta kind of closes their eyes briefly and then just opens their eyes with a kind of almost blank look that, you kind of got used to now. And there is, as you would expect, a very sort of, I don't know, all-encompassing general glow of magic being the Feywild. But there are a few things that sort of do stand out a little to you. What you can see, because the fog is so dense, what you can see is essentially just light, where this kind of slightly more intense magic is possibly kind of shining from. And it looks like a couple of the pieces of armor seem to have a bit more magic to them, or a magic that's still far more powerful. But the curious thing is that in the distance, in the fog, so you cannot actually, with your eyes, see anything. What you see is two large sort of structures that sort of almost point up to the sky. In fact, from here, they almost look like some kind of sort of crossbars. And they are huge. So we're talking like probably, 20 foot high.
Dang.
And do I get any read of what sort of magic it is?
That's a very good question.
Because detect magic says that any object or creature that bears magic will glow, but then I learn it's school of magic, if any.
Yeah. So let me just check.
James
So I can
never
tell
got
you.
that prepared. You should know that by now.
Sounds like not
All
my
right.
problem.
So
Rocks fall, Asta dies.
let's have a quick look at these. I'm just having a look so I can get this right for you.
In the meantime, I will tell my companions what I can see.
Well, that's fiercely interesting. And now I'm curious. And we all know what
Yeah,
happens.
me too. I think we should check it out, actually. I'm with you on this one.
I think before Mona has a chance to sort of respond.
And
to
we
it.
just go.
Oh, okay. It's like she's got two
Well,
toddlers.
are you coming with us, or are you going to stay there?
More like a toddler and a cat.
Oh.
More like a toddler and a cat. That is ridiculously close. So the tall structures that seem to be sticking out in the distance, those have a slight sort of transmutation school feel to them. And the pieces of armor that you see lying around have conjuration magic from them.
Okay.
I mean, is it worth fishing out any of those pieces of armor?
Maybe. Yeah, I'll tell Nerigwynn about the magic stuff.
Ooh.
No offense, Mona.
Yeah. Magic armor? I mean, that could be useful.
Yeah, it appears that it's been conjured or something. Yeah, so I think it's worth more of an investigation.
And big poles at the end as well.
Yeah, I don't see them with my actual eyes yet, but they're there somewhere.
Okay, well, let's fish out some of those pieces of armor and see if they do anything.
And the pieces that you saw are still quite a way in. So you would have to carry on walking towards what you would guess is the kind of center of this battlefield.
I think
that
Nerigwynn
can't
are
end
already on the
badly.
way.
That's going to be fine.
I'm fully expecting something to leap up still, but, if not, we don't want to miss some magical armor for some of us, do we? I mean, you can always run away. Running away is always an option. It's a very cat thing to do.
Yeah, what's the worst that could happen? Come on, let's do it.
Sometimes I run away just for the fun of it.
It's true, he does that.
Okay. So we're digging up some of the armor?
Yeah, it's not like anybody else is using it.
No, I suppose not. I'll start doing the same thing I did earlier, just like fishing it out with the end of my sword because I don't want to touch them.
So, like I say, you'd have to walk a little way further into the armor that kind of seemed to have a slightly stronger magical field was. So you guys head in and, as you've got used to now, as you walk in, some things become a bit clearer and you can see the scale of the area is huge. And you can now see these kind of looming structures as you get another kind of 30 or 40 feet in to this battlefield. You can make the outline, and they do in fact look like some kind of upright with crossbars, and there's two of them at kind of angles.
If we stumbled onto a rugby pitch.
That's what I was picturing.
They're more this shape, but I didn't want to sort of give any Christian implications, but they're like that shape. Who's going to go to the armor?
I think Asta will, because I can see them, right?
Yeah, I mean, you walk towards the armor, and you are about 20 feet away from this kind of the brighter pile of armor. And as you get to within 20 feet, there is a rattle of noise, and a suit of armor stands
Yeah.
up in front of you.
Great, cool.
I mean,
Hello.
The armor is motionless and says nothing to you.
I think
poke
Mona's
it.
saying something to herself. Mona's
Well,
just
you're still about
walk
20
around
feet
the
Oh,
away.
I'm still
outside.
20 feet. Can I get?
We'll
I'll
stay
get
away.
a little closer, just in a non-threatening sort of way.
Don't worry, Mona. We just walk through the middle and not say anything. It's fine. Nothing bad will happen.
Nerigwynn chooses to ignore.
I'm just chatting shit to myself.
Nerigwynn, what are you doing?
I'm going to wander closer to Asta. If this is going to go horribly, I want to make sure that there's somebody there.
Mona?
Yeah, I'll probably do the same thing. She's muttering and whinging about it, but she's still walking towards.
Okay. So you two are slightly further back, and Asta is sort of gingerly walking closer to the armor. The armor is motionless and doesn't respond to you. Are you going to poke it, like you said?
Yeah.
Just with your finger, just like bit.
As soon as you raise your arm to poke it, the armor raises its arm
Oh, I like that.
and
What
points
did you
directly
do?
at you.
I'm gonna do a little dance.
The armor perfectly mimics your dance.
Ah! What is happening?
I don't know, but it's cool, right? Well, you try it. See if it's just me. Can you do it too?
Well,
What?
mean, I don't think I'm in the right shape.
Well,
Mona,
not
would you like to
Mona.
go?
Okay.
That's
I'll
slightly
sort of walk.
speciesist.
No, stand here. Now do something.
Oh, I'm standing next to Asta, and I'll kind
Do
of
something cool. Do anything.
Power stance.
The
job,
armor
good job.
perfectly mimics your stance.
I'm gonna flex.
It flexes.
How long are we gonna stand it?
Hours. This is the whole
Right,
rest
Well,
of the
this is
episode.
cool, but I don't
Just
know.
for
if
your
this is
information, the
useful.
armor does look like the other armor that you found. It looks like elven armor. The helmet almost has. It almost looks like an owl face. The armor shape, which is something that you would know is fairly typically elven. Asta, particularly you, would have seen that this is a very typical style of armor.
Why? What is it? Why is it just copying us? Is it alive?
Well, I'm assuming it's enchanted.
Do we think the other armor is the
Okay.
same? Did you say there was more than one?
There were two particular piles.
Oh, I'm going to shuffle over to the other one.
As soon as you get within 20 feet of it, a second
That's the evil
suit of
one.
armor stands up.
I'm going
That's
to
the evil twin.
hold the paw. And you think Nerigwynn isn't.
He didn't say he wasn't.
Holds the paw up.
The armor uncomfortably kind of mimics your movement.
I'm going to chase my tail.
The armor moves round and round.
Well, this is all very interesting. I'm going to try and walk slowly back towards the others.
What
The armor
does it-
stays where it is.
Oh, okay.
Come back. Try and walk along with it a bit.
It stays where it is, but it does mimic any other movements that you make.
What happens when we try to touch it? Like, do you just...
It
It's
just
just-
reaches out its hand and mimics
just-
your gesture.
Boop each other on the forehead.
If you boop it, it will boop
It
you.
will
will
be
you.
booped. As the proverb goes, one who boops is also booped.
Exactly.
Boop head. Well, this is very interesting. I'm not sure what purpose it serves. Feels like it's part of something larger, doesn't it?
Well, they were on a battlefield.
It's been-
Well,
sorry.
how about we check out them big rugby post type things?
Fantasy rugby
Crosses.
posts.
Yes, let's go and play some fantasy, Robbie.
Yes.
How far
yes.
away are we from the posts?
You can see the outline of them sort of now, but you can't see the detail yet. You are probably about, I would say you're probably about 50 feet away, and they are where you would think kind of the center of this battlefield is.
Okay. I say for now we carry on and see if there's anything over by these big structures that might give us more information.
When we move away from the armor, does it fall or does it just stay where it is?
The armor stays until you are about 25 feet away,
Okay.
and then the armor sort of slowly just falls down.
Oh, I almost feel bad.
Yeah, it's a bit sad, really, isn't it?
Yes.
Okay, let's go and... Says Nerigwynn, instantaneously getting over it. Let's go and check out the posts.
Oh, dreadful. Bye.
Nerigwynn, oh, that's so terrible. Anyway, next.
Sucks to be you.
Sucks to be you. So you're going to head towards these structures, yeah?
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Cool. Like I say, they're about 50 feet away, and you walk carefully, through this open area. And as you get closer, the mist starts to sort of thin a little bit, and you start to see more details on the structure. And it doesn't take very long before all three of you realize that these are, in fact, giant swords that appear to be embedded in the ground in the
Mona
center of
wants
this
one.
battlefield.
Oh, I
She wants it.
don't want to meet the person that put those there.
Asta, because you rolled well earlier, at this point, you suddenly remember the stories that you were told. And you remember stories of a huge battle between the elves and the Fomorians.
Oh, I'm remembering something. There was
What?
I remember being told stories about this. There was a big battle between the elves and the Fomorians or something like that.
What are Fomorians?
Yes.
Good question, DM.
Yeah. Tell Mona what Fomorians are.
Yeah, just like give me a second. I gotta remember. It's coming back to me, but you gotta just hang fire for just a second.
Just go into my mind palace and find out.
So I shall read you what the Fomorians were. So the Fomorians were a race of giantkin that were hideously deformed by an ancient curse. And they were considered for a long time to be the most wicked and hideous of the giant races.
Damn. Brutal.
But they are now, well, to all intents and purposes, nobody has seen Fomorians for many, many, many years.
Were they actually bad guys, or were they just difficult to look at? Okay.
No, they were deformed in every sense, and so they were violent and and the elves in fact fought them. So this is one of the sites of elfish history where they battled these Fomorians.
Okay, cool.
Asta recounts this.
Asta says.
Said Asta.
Yeah, they were these like ugly giants. Weren't very nice. Now they're all dead, I think.
I mean, are we cutting them a bit harsh? I mean, we all have different standards of beauty.
You should see me.
Yeah, but they were like literally cursed with deformities.
Well, like mange or something.
Yeah, just like that.
Yep.
No. I mean, sure, whatever. Anyway, they're all gone now, I think. Well, no one's seen any for a long time.
Wow. And these were the swords they had?
Yeah, they were They were pretty big.
Oof.
Giants.
Fighting elves.
Yeah.
That seems like a difficult fight to win.
I
Well,
mean,
they
I
did.
wouldn't particularly want to fight elves. They're all like, woo, they float off and things like that.
Very magical.
Yeah.
Just pictured a cat doing that impression of an elf.
I feel like this cat is confusing elves and fairies, but
No, he definitely knows the difference between elves and fairies.
and pigs.
One is edible, one isn't.
One is fun to chase, one of them picks you up by the scruff of the neck.
Ooh, so
So these swords, is there anything on, like, any markings on them? Anything?
The swords have markings on them that, I mean, you can see that the markings are a form of giant, which, Esther, I would assume you can
I can read giant, yeah.
And you can see what's left there are markings that talk about or that say things like rage and victory, and that's pretty much all you can glean from it. I mean, they were swords, so they were just markings that were clearly there as symbolic gestures. But they're kind of fairly crude but huge. And they look. I mean, they
Mona
are.
definitely wants to get on her Final Fantasy bullshit and just take one.
I was actually wondering whether we should take the armor and Mona.
I don't think we
But
can.
it's-
Every time we get close to it, it's all...
It's all alive and shit.
That's why I want to see what it does when you put it on.
I know.
You'll be stuck
we
in
have
the
to-
robot forever.
You've become a war.
A robot that does what I want it to do anyway. Uh-oh.
This is all very interesting and great history. I wonder if there's anything we can use to help us in the fight against the evil Colvin.
Not unless you can carry a giant sword.
I wish.
I don't think all three of us together could carry one of those.
I don't think I can.
No.
Like, I think to illustrate his point, Nerigwynn will stand up on his hind legs and try and push the sword. I don't think we can even budge it out of the earth, to be fair.
Mona's looking at it longingly, like, oh, I want it.
Nerigwynn stands up and pushes against the sword, and all that happens is that there are small muddy paw prints on the side of the sword.
Oh, it is blessed.
It looks better, at any rate. This place is clearly very magical and very important and a wonderful historical, but this is not going to help us stop what's going on here.
Well, is that armor going to be something we could use?
If we can get hold of it, we could try and see if you could wear it. I mean,
Oh!
I technically know how to wear that sort of armor, but it's not cat-shaped, and I'm fairly certain it's far too heavy for me.
Yes, you would be more of a 8 cats in a trench coat kind of situation if you tried to put that on.
I like
Okay,
that idea.
if I think Mona's going to sort of knit back.
I've got an idea.
Oh, okay.
I'm all for it.
Asta's going to go with Mona.
Mm-hmm.
And just before we get within 25 feet, he's going to cast Entangle on the armor, like on the space where the armor is. So that
Okay.
it can't, like, join together.
Okay.
Okay, I think I've got it, like, trapped. If you try and get closer and see what happens.
Do you want Mona to Iron Man into this armor?
Yeah, you stand in the middle, and I'll let go of the vines, and then we'll see what happens. Absolutely nothing could go wrong here.
No, I cannot see this.
I've done
going
all the
wrong.
thinking. It's going to be fine. You get in there, and I'll let go.
It definitely won't crush my bones. It will
Nope.
be fine.
No.
How are you trying to
No.
do this?
I what I meant was, I'll hold it in place, and Mona can, like, try and grab the pieces.
Yeah.
I don't the other plan
Yeah.
better. Like, stand
I mean,
there.
that is, like, yeah. But I think that probably will end badly.
That will crush my bones.
I mean, it didn't always end well for Tony, so...
Exactly.
Cool. So the Entangle casts these vines that kind
it's a 20-foot square. Will that get all of it?
yeah. I mean, where they sort of, almost submerged or whatever, they're in a fairly small pile, and the vines can easily kind of cover them, so they're there. And then, are you're going to go up and try and pull pieces, Mona?
I think I'll go for something simple, like a bracer. Just not helmet first.
Helmet
Bracer.
first. Helmet
Come on, you coward.
first.
No. No, that's where my brain is. So I'm going to try and put a bracer on my forearm first.
Okay. You reach into the kind of tangle of webs. Roll me a strength throw, please.
Okay. Dirty 20.
Nice. So you kind of reach in and grab what looks like a small sort of bracer or part of the forearm of the armor, and you pull it out, and actually it comes surprisingly easy.
And it's not got a mind of its own. It's just...
At the moment, it seems to be perfectly fine. What you do notice, though, is that the armor that's under the vines, as soon as you got within reach, you could see the vines kind of strain, as it obviously was trying to form.
Oh, I feel kind of bad. Oh, I feel like I'm dismembering it.
Well, you're going to put it back together again, just
on you.
not on you, as opposed to in the mud left behind.
Yeah, this definitely can't end badly. Okay. I'm gonna just
How
try
did
and
you
put it
lose
on.
Mona?
Well, fun story. She tried to avenge herself into some enchanted armor and died dead.
I told you last time we're not the Avengers. That's
Oh yeah.
I know, why can people not get this through their
Shit,
head?
we're gonna get sued. She's gonna try and put the bracer on her arm.
Okay. So you put the bracer on your arm, and it seems to be fine. It goes on. You tighten the straps, and it's on your arm. You feel nothing particularly special about it. It's a bit muddy.
I don't like how surprised your tone is. You're the DM.
You must have
You're like,
expected us to do
it's
this.
fine. Okay, I'll try with another bracer then.
Okay. Roll me another strength roll.
Okay.
It's that okay?
You can certainly try.
I'm not your dad.
Where's my strength gone? That's only an 11, that one.
You reach in to try and pull the other bracer out, and you cannot get it out because of where the vines are, because they grow haphazardly,
Dang it.
as natural vines do. So you would have to try something else to get something else.
Okay, I'll try and get something else that isn't where my organs would go. So a limb-based.
Okay.
Howard.
Okay.
Helmet first. Helmet
No!
first.
We're
Well,
going to put it all on eventually.
I was going to say
I know!
I rolled, so the piece that is easiest for you to get out is actually the helmet,
Oh, feck.
and I rolled for that, so it's not.
Put
I didn't
the
pick that.
helmet on.
Okay. I'll get the bleeding helmet.
Okay, make me another strength roll.
Oh man. Nope. Decided I wasn't allowed to because that was a fail, like a critical one.
A critical one. You try and pull the helmet out, and it loosens a little and feels like it's coming out. And then because of the mud and everything, you literally just, your hands slip off and you land ass first in the mud.
Perhaps we should give Mona a hand rather than just sit and watch and jeer.
And laugh.
Yes, you're having fun.
Yes.
Is it good?
Good.
Asta's brought
That's
out the
right. We
popcorn.
can actually help.
I
can't
love the
we?
fact she keeps asking me as if I'm having fun, as if I'm not. I'm going to be. Oh no, Mona, you poor thing.
Oh, are you okay?
What am
some
I, a
sort of
human?
frog.
Yeah, Asta will go and try and grab some of the armor too. The helmet.
Mona will sludge her way back up to being a standing person.
Okay, so do you want to roll with advantage then?
Yes, please.
Okay,
And try and
let's
get
do
that
that.
stupid helmet
Is that
again.
okay, Asta?
Mm-hmm.
14. Does that do
Cool.
the ding dang thing?
Because you had the help from Asta sort of tugging behind you, and you had loosened it before with your failed roll. It takes a
what you
little
mean.
bit of pulling, but you do get the helmet loose, and it takes a couple of minutes of like wriggling it through the vines, and you kind of get your thumbs in so you don't slip, and you pull it out, and as it comes out, you're like, you literally have that moment of like, woohoo, and you hold up the helmet. And as soon as you hold it aloft, the helmet just disintegrates into dust, and the rest of the armor does too.
Ah!
And there's just a pile of dust that slowly starts to sink into the mud, except the helmet, which is scattered over Mona's hair and shoulders.
Oh, that's really sad.
Oh no!
And now I feel bad.
Oh!
Yeah, that's really quite sad, actually.
Well, maybe we did them a favor. I mean, they've been stuck here forever. Maybe now they've like passed on.
I'm gonna go ahead and hope they weren't conscious.
No, I'm fairly certain that there was nobody in that armor.
No. Oh dear. Well,
Right. Now we know that's not a feasible plan. We can just go, right?
I'm gonna brush the dust off of me.
Unless.
No, we're not trying it with the other pile.
Go on. I've got a better plan this time.
No, what could?
All right, let's hear the plan.
But if you hold them like that, I will rattle them with my magic. You know how I can rattle doors and windows and things, and throw my voice. I will rattle them a bit and see if that helps Mona get them loose.
But when we lift the helmet out, it's gonna
you're probably
disintegrate.
Right.
Even if we succeed in this, I have the feeling that if I get it done, it is never, ever, ever coming off.
Right, let's move on.
I just hate feeling like we're missing something here.
But, yes, but I'd rather not be imprisoned in armor forever. It would get stinky very quickly.
All right, fine. So how about those swords?
Yes, we can try them. Anyone got anything that changes sizes of things? Just a bit, just a couple of feet.
No, don't know anything about that sort of thing, I'm afraid.
Shame. Oh well. Well, it was worth a try. The armor and the swords.
This is a very interesting place.
It is.
A strip of mud.
Shall we continue on past the swords?
Yes, let's walk past the sword.
Okay.
Who's brave enough to walk between the swords?
Oh, I will.
Are you going to walk between the swords?
Yeah, I love the swords. I want the swords.
So Mona sort of treads carefully, gets to sort of looks up and sees these two swords, and then kind of takes a breath and proudly kind of steps between the swords.
As she does, I'm going to use thaumaturgy to just make a burst of wind beneath her to make all her cardigan flow up behind her and things.
Oh! Like Marilyn Monroe in knitwear.
With knitwear, yeah.
Yep.
So, Mona, you just get to just between these swords, and suddenly it feels as if someone has kind of given you a bit of a push from behind.
I fully scream.
And in the silence of this fog-enshrouded battlefield and the remains of noble elves, you just hear Mona going, and running from between the two swords.
Yep.
Cool. And you guys continue along your way.
Standard.
Cool. So you guys walk, I mean, it takes you another, good sort of 50, 60 feet to reach the other side of this battlefield, but you can see where the vegetation has started to grow again, and where you're back into the thick of what you have come to know as the vegetation of this area. What you do notice is you start to see a couple of formations of rocks and landmarks that you were given by Agden's men. And so you know that you're near one of the spots where they often have boats and skiffs and stuff like that moored up for people to use. And it becomes pretty obvious fairly quickly why, because you can already see that the water is starting to get deeper as you get closer to this area. So are you guys going to, I assume you're going to go and try and find one of the boats?
Yeah, I think I'm definitely keeping my eyes peeled for one that looks like a
So
cold hole.
roll me a perception check, all three of you.
Okay.
17.
That's 17. Mona?
19.
Asta?
16.
Blimey.
Hey.
So yeah, I mean, you guys, it's fairly easy. You follow the landmarks, and although it's a lot of the area is very unidentifiable, you find they actually gave you pretty good instructions, and you do see a mooring that has two small boats on it. They're both big enough to take you guys, but as you get closer, you see one of them definitely has a small crack along the side that has been fairly badly patched, but the other seems in good condition.
Oh, shall we?
Absolutely.
Wonderful.
Nobody looks like they're taking payment or anything around. For them.
No, there is nobody around that you can see at all. You can just see this sort of ramshackled sort of pontoon that is there, and clearly looks like it's only being constructed so that people can get in and out of a boat and tie a boat up there. There is nothing else here. In fact, you don't see any other structures at all from here.
Careful.
All the boats are mimics.
Oh God, no! Get in it, it just eats us.
Ow!
Yep.
Nom.
No, I'll just find the best looking one. The one that looks like it's in the best, not the best looking. The one that looks in its best condition.
Yeah, so the one is definitely in better condition, and like I say, they're big enough to take the three of you in one.
Cool. Is it an oar situation or a gondola situation?
It's a gondola situation. So
Okay.
there is a stick that is mounted on the side of the boat. So somebody has clearly been helpful, and you can use that to slowly push yourselves along. So who's going to do the pushing?
Oh, Nerigwynn will do it. Yeah.
Is Nerigwynn strong enough?
No.
Love to see that.
I feel like you just use it as a scratching post and hope for the
Nerigwynn
best.
is quite strong for a cat of his size. Comparatively,
Yeah, but
however,
for a cat of his size.
he's a cat that could definitely push your hand away if he doesn't want belly rubs anymore.
That's good to
Okay,
know.
fair.
My cat.
Get you in an arm lock.
So who is going to be doing the punting?
Asta will push.
Cool. So Asta gets the pole stands at the back and starts to push you guys.
But if Asta's standing in the back, that means Mona needs to stand in the front.
Correct.
Yep,
well,
yep,
sit
yep,
in
yep.
the front.
Otherwise,
Anyway.
otherwise we'll.
Balance.
Yeah. And Nerigwynn sits in the middle on the bench seat, basically looking like he is being paraded by the two of you.
Curl up.
Of course.
And actually, this feels like the most pleasant transport that you have had really since you've been here. The water gets a little bit deeper, and it's not as difficult to actually push through. So even for Asta, this isn't terribly hard work. It starts to get a decent flow, and although you don't see much difference in the surroundings, it does start to feel like you are traveling on a river rather than through a swamp. The water part widens a little, And it definitely feels like you are heading, towards the right direction, but also feels like you are actually traveling along a river to
Is there
some
any
point.
current or
There is
in the
there
water?
is small current, but it's nothing that is sort of particularly powerful. But because of the size of the area of open water that you're on now, or of water that seems to just be flowing, um, it definitely feels less like a stagnant swamp and more like swampy water, but still moving as a small river would.
Well, this is almost quite nice. It's quite
Yeah, well,
relaxing.
you guys are out of the mud and you can actually sit back and there's some air movement. And although you do occasionally get a couple of bugs stuck in your teeth, and there's still some mosquito type things that definitely feel like mosquitoes, even if they don't look like them.
No leechy grabby things though.
No, not in the boat.
But miraculously, even though the boat is completely dry, there will be slugs in Nerigwynn's fur the next time someone gives him a scritch.
Oh,
For God's sake.
There definitely would be, yes. So you guys carry on with this, and actually, like I say, although it is probably the most pleasant transport you have had, it does take a while, and it's one of those things where every time the mist clears a little, you're like, oh, can we see it? And there just appears to be more swamp ahead of you. But you progress, and with a few detours of the curving of this kind of river, you do still have a pretty sure kind of feeling that you're in the right direction. As you travel, you guys kind of chill out a little bit, apart from Asta, obviously.
I will sort of. I think Mona will check to see if Asta needs a swap.
Sure.
Are you doing okay, my friend?
Oh yeah, I'm fine. It's quite relaxing actually.
Yes. Okay. Well, I mean, let me know if you want to swap. It's quite nice and breezy up here.
So Mona, you and Nerigwynn chill out a little bit. Asta is doing his sort of boat pushing meditation, basically, and you guys feel like you've got a bit of a flow on and heading in the right direction. It takes a couple of hours, and eventually you can feel that there is a bit more of a flow to the river. I mean, nothing manic, but it definitely feels like there is more of a flow, and also it does seem to be a little clearer, probably because of the motion. But it seems to be clearing a little bit the water. And it's not long after that, although there is still the thick fog hanging in the air, you can see ahead of you the shadows of what looks like some kind of structures. Some are a little strange because they seem to be quite tall and bulbous. Others just look like the spires of pointed roofs. But there seems to be quite a few of them, all fairly low, but in the distance you can at least see the shadows of what seems to be some kind of settlement.
Do you think this could be where we're trying to get to?
It seems like it. I guess we won't know until we get closer.
Okay.
Cool. So as you guys sort of push on with the boat, you do get to a point where the fog seems to kind of close in, but actually ahead of you it seems to clear a little. And you can see probably about 50 feet ahead of you, but only 20 feet or so on the sides. And before you, you can see that the waterway widens and the current that you are in starts to slow. And it feels like you are entering some kind of lake ahead of you. And you can see that alongside the lake are where those structures are, still mostly obscured by the fog, but it definitely is where there is some kind of settlement. And you guys will very soon be entering a kind of lake that is part of that settlement of buildings.
Cool.
Are you pushing on into the lake in the middle of the settlement, or what are you guys planning on doing?
I mean, I'm happy to keep going.
I think, yeah, I mean, this is where we've been aiming for, and we kind of have to assume that she knows we're here, even if she doesn't know what we're up to.
Oh, yeah.
So,
Cool. So you guys carry on, and there's buildings that start to get a little bit clearer. And one of the things you notice is that on the left, as you were kind of entering into this lake, there is this kind of bulbous outline that you saw. Looks very similar to the balloon that you saw Sir Talavar flying/crashing in, which kind of makes more sense than a round roof. And then through the fog, one of the first things that you notice is that you hear these kind of almost croaking voices. They sound not like frogs, but at the same time similar to frogs.
Damn it.
And then you notice these two dark shapes appearing on the water, which very quickly become visible to you as two rowboats. And manning the oars of each rowboat are two bullywogs dressed in what can only be described as old and somewhat dirty finery. And as you come into view and they see you, one of them just sort of casually looks at you and just goes, "Oh, well, welcome to the soggy court." And turns his back on you and continues rowing very lazily in the other direction. The other
Giving
one,
me strong Mr. Toad vibes.
the other one
I
looks.
was literally, I've been imagining that this whole time.
I mean, there's nothing quite so wonderful as messing around in boats, apparently.
And the other one kind of casts you a look and just gives you a very kind of over-dramatic wave.
Oh my God.
And then pushes the boat with his oars and sails off into the fog towards where the other structures are.
I love them so much.
And although it's a little early, I think that is where we are going to leave it tonight, if that's okay.
Oh,
It feels like a really good place.
yeah, great place, especially with that glorious introduction to what they're like. I want to hear them speak constantly.
Wayne might not feel that
I was going
way.
to say, I think it's definitely a good thing to stop tonight. But yes, so welcome to Downfall and the Soggy Court.
Woo! We made it.
Indeed.
Looks like we made it.
So, yes, as I say, although it's a little earlier, I thought that was a good place for us to stop tonight before we get into some further excitement. And the next game will be in 2 weeks. So thank you to those of you who have joined us tonight. We appreciate so much having you here, and we are very, very grateful for all of you for joining us. We have much fun bringing this to life for you guys. And thank you to the wonderful people who make up this cast. So before we say goodnight finally tonight, I would like to ask you to please let everyone know where they can find you and what you're up to and where to follow you on the socials. And we shall begin with Chris tonight.
Cool. Well, the next place you can find me is here again on Sunday with our ongoing homebrew campaign. So yeah, that's getting very interesting at the moment. This week will be a grand ball.
Oh, I'm so excited.
Which I am very excited for, and so are this. Otherwise, you can find me on Twitter at ChrisMephamRPG or on Instagram at ChrisMephamArt. I have just closed my commissions for the minute because I are busy, but they will be open again in April. If you would like some fantastic character art like these wonderful
cool ones
here, all done by my
I wondered what you were doing. I forgot we're in frames. I thought you were summoning something from your mic.
Why are you just pointing at random stuff?
Yeah, it's also that thing. It's like, did I mirror? Did I rotate? I can't remember. I will be opening up again in April for some additional slots. But at the moment, for now, I am a closed boy. But yes, that's me.
Cool. And Charlie.
All my stuff is charlievince.com. My Charlie spelt without an E. And all my social media stuff, all my links are all on there. My shop is on there. We'll definitely have some cool updates on some publishing stuff soon. So make sure that you're in the loop with my newsletter as well, because that's where I'll put information about it. I think that's about it. Apart from, hi, Mum. Love you, Mum.
Hi, Charlie's mum.
Hi, Charlie's mum.
Hi, Charlie's mum.
And thank you, Wayne. This has been awesome and very, very fun. And I will have one of those swords. I will find a way.
Thank you. And Theo.
Yes, I am Theo, and you can find me at theoblueillustration.com. And yeah, all my links to everything are on there. I have a shop update for Etsy coming very, very soon. I've got lots of shiny new things. So check it out.
Amazing. Thank you very much. My name is Wayne Fick. You can find me on the socials mostly as WayneFick01, or my website, waynefick.com, where I do have a newsletter where I talk about design and branding things and stuff like that. So please do follow me there. Before we close off tonight, I would just like to say a thank you to our wonderful community that follow us, but also to the people that play D&D online that I would like to encourage you to please follow. The first being the lot from Wicked Game, who have a fantastic new campaign that has just started, so it's a perfect time to get on board with them. So please do give them a follow and a watch. And I've been
watching the VODs on YouTube. It's very fun.
It's so good. And the other is, of course, the fabulous Dice and a Slice podcast, who currently have some pretty cool stuff planned and are looking for collaborators to be involved. So do check out their Twitter for more information on that. And that is pretty much it for tonight. Do remember, as Charlie has mentioned, we also do have our videos on YouTube if you've missed previous episodes of either this or our homebrew game. So please give us a follow over on YouTube and check those out if you want to catch up.
And send it to your friends. Send it to your nerdy/arty/queer friends. We accept any of the three.
Indeed, and preferably all three even.
All three even better.
But yes, please do tell your friends about us and let people know.
Very quick shout out to Mates of Fate, who have been engaging with us all week. They are a homebrew D&D stream who seem to be very cool and really nice people. I've just started looking at what they're doing, and they've been very nice and engaging, and they've popped past today very briefly whilst they could to say hello.
Yeah, thank you guys.
I got in trouble for it, sorry.
I know, yeah, but we really do appreciate it, so thank you so much for coming out past.
Absolutely. So with that, have a wonderful rest of your week. People, we shall be back on Sunday, as Chris said, with our homebrew game, but have a wonderful rest of your weeks and take care of yourselves and each other, and we shall see you soon. Thanks for joining us.
Love you all.
Love you.
Bye.